Hi there, this is Tammy Bonnell, co-chair for Exit Realty Corp International, and I am so grateful that you had the opportunity to join me today. This topic is so important right now. We're going to be talking about meaningful work and not just how to make your work, what you're doing right now, more meaningful, but even helping you to attain more meaningful work. And really, my goal is that you are doing meaningful work and you have a really full, meaningful life. If you get an opportunity, right now is a good time to make sure you have a pen and paper. We remember what we write down. And so it's really important to have that in front of you, and also so that you'll be writing down the things that are really important to you and pertinent to you. This statistic is stunning to me that over 80% of North Americans really aspire to do true meaningful work, and yet fewer than 50% attain it. That's a pretty startling statistic to me. And I think that it's because we don't really think it through, maybe, and maybe we think it's a lot tougher to attain than possible. So I'm going to go at this from a few different angles today, and really it's to get you thinking and to get you asking yourself some really effective questions so that you really do have much more fulfilling work and much more meaning in everything that you're doing. You know, there's 4 aspects of well-being. We have the opportunity for us to generate income, right? Having financial stability, having good physical health. And physical health, believe it or not, stress has a lot more weight on us than we believe and has a huge impact on physical health. But when we feel like we're doing things that are valuable and that really have meaning, we actually even feel better. Strong relationships. Harvard Business Review did a study, and the number one reason for happiness, the number one contributor for happiness is strong relationships. It doesn't have to be millions of relationships, but the strength of those relationships. And while I'm talking about that, on all 4 of these categories, I highly recommend that you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How financially stable am I? What would get me if you're at a 7? What would get me from a 7 to an 8? How physically healthy am I? Do I feel healthy, strong, and vibrant? And what that means to you, because it's going to be different for everyone. But as you start to see some sort of a number, what would take me to the next level will keep growing. As far as strong relationships go, think of the people that you work the closest to. Think of the people in your community. Think of those closest friends, and then those really, really close family members and people that you consider family, right? They don't all have to be blood. Rate yourself on that. And sense of community. You know, it's so important for us to live our mission statement and to have this opportunity for a legacy. And I think the more that we rate ourselves so that we can constantly strive for improvement, anything in the right direction is the right direction. So rate yourself while you're here, and remember to go back to it so that you can write some more notes later on every bit of the things that are important to you. You know, these 4 aspects directly tie to the feeling of purpose and meaning at work. And, you know, helping yourself and others achieve all 4 is a really big deal. You know, if it's something that you really want to work with and collaborate with your coworkers, what would make it so that their job would feel more meaningful? What would make it so that they would feel that they were really making a great contribution? What are the things, what are the aspects of that? Going through that list of 4 with the people that you work with, going through that list of 4 with the people that you're closest to. All of this will help you get closer and closer to your meaning too, because we always think more when we're having a conversation and we're engaged, especially when we're collaborating. You know, included in this definition for most people, we're doing something that's important. We're doing something that's worthwhile. We're doing something that's valuable. If I think of important, you know, you might think of a surgeon that's going to be saving someone's life, but that important can truly be anything. What makes this important to you? Worthwhile. You know, I'll share my story. What makes my job so worthwhile to me, and I love what I do, and I love that opportunity to be able to do it every single day, bringing that meaning to it, is I'm a firm believer in 90% autonomy, of giving people, they were hired for a job, I want them to grow into that position and do it, but 10% whispering in their ear, showing them who they can become. And a lot of times people become who we say they can be. And maybe it's something that they didn't see in themselves. And so every day I get the privilege or the gift to have somebody come back to me and say, I did it. And it doesn't matter what that I did it was, because it's going to be different for everybody. But now there's a whole lot more value and meaning in what it is that they're doing. And people want to contribute more when they really do feel like it's adding value. That adding value could be adding value to others. It could be adding value to your company so that you're helping to build it in some way, shape, or form, adding value to the people that you're working with as coworkers, adding value to your community by doing something and participating in something. But all of it starts to really take on great meaning. It can take on many forms. I really want to touch on this because I think it's so important. There are a lot of people that have different types of jobs, and I'll never forget, I was in the hospital and I was having surgery. This was some years ago. And there was a gentleman that was a janitor working in the hospital that came into my room. And I asked him what he did. He was just striking up a conversation, very polite, nice man. And I asked him what he did. And he said, I help save lives. And I thought, wow, that's magical. Talk about having meaning. And he really believed by keeping the hospital clean, he kept people from getting infections, he kept people safer, and in turn, that really helped to save lives. So he knew what his position did to contribute to the whole well-being of the entire hospital. And I thought, wow, that's just a great thing. And I don't know if he thought of that himself or he had a great leader, but that's also another thing to think of when, whether you're leading somebody or you're a coworker, sometimes really seeing the value that somebody else is providing. Is there a problem that you can solve? That's usually a question I ask myself. Is there a problem that you can solve? Maybe there's something that's going on. I'm a firm believer that we should focus on the solution and not the problem. But a lot of times, if you can think of a problem you can solve in your community, in your company, something that falls in your lane, that's part of your skill set, now you start to see that there's more and more meaning in absolutely everything that you do. Positive impact, we can have a positive impact. We can empower people, we can encourage people, we can educate people, we can energize people, we can become a mentor for somebody. All of those have a ripple effect. So when you start thinking about how can I make this have a positive impact on the people I work with, a positive impact on the community, empowering people. Maybe it's teaching people, and so I've empowered them so that now they have a leg up instead of a flat out handout. They now can do something themselves. But all of the things that you can do that can have a positive impact out of the day, when you're adding that level of value, you're absolutely putting meaning into all that you do. I love, there's a gentleman, Sean Aker, who wrote a book called Before Happiness. And he said that meaningful goals keep you 3 times more motivated, energized, and productive. So that would tell me I want to have something that has meaning regardless of what it is that I'm doing for a living, right? And even if I'm doing a job now that maybe it's not my final job, maybe it's not the final place I want to be, maybe I want to own a company, maybe I want to do something entirely different, but I can still add meaning and add value right now where I am. And it will probably, if I'm 3 times more productive, help me to get to where I want to be that much faster. He also stated, and it's actually a true fact, which is sad but true, lack of meaningful goals is the highest measure for depression. So having meanings around you of all the things that you think add value, even keeping notes around you of what it is that you think made a difference. For me, at the end of every single day, I take 2 minutes and I ask myself, what worked today and how did I add value? And there's always something. And that way, the next day, you can jump in and literally work towards getting to that goal just that much faster. Finding the best meaning for you, what can you tie it to? What can you tie it to? Can you tie it to something that's personal? Can you tie it to something that something resonated with you. You met with a leader, you attended a conference, and somebody said something that really resonated with you. There's something important going on in your family that you really want to make a difference. What can you tie it to so that it will have the best meaning and be as close to where your core values are, to where your heart is? Everything you think of, write down. Sometimes it's not even that first sentence we write or the first couple of bullet points. It's something that keeps going because we go back through. And I highly recommend rereading your notes and then putting something together that's a little bit more concise. Asking yourself effective questions. You know, when I can reach back and I can look and see, when did I feel my best? When did I feel the best about myself? Typically, we do something we didn't know we could, or we had an amazing impact on someone, or we had an amazing impact on a community. When did I feel my best? And, you know, not just what do I want, but why do I want it? I want this because it's going to do this. It's going to stick with your why. You're really a purpose that is tied to you personally as a person. We all have different things that really resonate with us. So knowing what I want and then why do I want it, and always asking yourself, who benefits if I succeed? Maybe that's my kids and grandkids, because it's going to give me an opportunity to buy a second home and have everybody around in a family atmosphere, and those funny jokes that are only funny in your own house, you get that, how that kind of meaning is. Or maybe it's everyone in my organization is going to benefit because we're going to grow that much more and we're going to get that much more market share, and we're going to make sure and ensure that these people continue to get to do their great work. The question that I usually ask, and I think that it is a great question to ask that really will help you to pull through all of these questions, is in what way can I? So that it's going back to you. In what way can I contribute? In what way can I make a difference? In what way can I incorporate this into my business? In what way can I incorporate this into my work? You know, it can be as simple as a side hustle, right? Paid or volunteer. 70% of people want to do something that's going to add value, that'll be social or environmental. But going back to the side hustle of paid or volunteer, I have a very close friend that's in martial arts and volunteers and teaches and coaches and referees, and gets the opportunity to see kids come back a decade later and how it made them stick with it and go to college, or how it made them stick with it and they were the first person in their family to actually be able to own a home. But they see that what they're doing and that contribution really has an impact. Think of all the teachers. Think of a teacher that had an impact on you, that made you stick with something, and you realized how much more resilience you have. And you can go down so many paths with this. You know, you can help co-workers and collaborate and mentor, and go back to all of those educating, helping others by donating a part of your income or profit to something you're passionate about. We have so many people within our organization. We have a program called the Spirit of Exit, and so a lot of our offices will and agents will do a fundraiser. We call it the Spirit of Exit, and then when the funds are there, Exit will do a matching program. And so not only do they feel part of something bigger because they're part of this organization, but they're also doing something together as a team that makes everyone that much closer within the office. And they start to get to know each other on a much higher level, on a much higher plane. Anyone with or group with a specific need, maybe there's something specific that's happening. I think of all the storms that have happened throughout this past year. Maybe there's an opportunity to contribute, to have everybody bring things into the office. It can be something that's short-term or long-term, you know, helping veterans, helping seniors, helping homeless. We have people that are doing birthday parties for homeless children and giving the parents credit so they have this great leg up and they get to feel like they're part of everything with everyone else. Hopefully, all of the things that I'm mentioning, there's something that's really triggering another thought for you. And maybe you've already gotten a great idea, and I'd love for you to share them. But it really does make a difference. Leading by example, providing experiences for those you love, right? Getting them to see things or experience things. Maybe it's a trip. We have a a lovely family in Utah, and this woman took her entire family. She saved up and she took her entire family by wanting to be focused on doing meaningful work. She took her whole entire family to Italy, and as she was walking through the streets of Italy, she was crying, thinking of just how fortunate she was to be able to provide this experience. Always having some goal in front of you really does resonate and really does stick with where you want to be as a person. Sean Aker mentioned this as well, by the way. He teaches a happiness course at Harvard Business School, and started off with that and started studying happiness and started studying success and how people ended up becoming more successful. And it's pretty amazing that IQ and training only accounts for 20 to 25% of what our success is, but 70 to 75% has to do with your outlook, what it is that you feel about yourself and how you feel you're doing. And that goes back to why meaningful work is so important. So every day, visualize yourself accomplishing your goals and keep visual reminders around you. I highly recommend, maybe it's a screensaver on your phone, on your tablet, on your desktop, and or even adding to that a vision board so that you can really see the pictures. And boy, doing a vision board with the people that you work with, or doing a vision board with your family, and really finding out what everyone's dreams are and what everyone's goals are, brings everybody closer together, and you learn something that you didn't even know about each other just by doing that simple exercise. You know, action is so important in order to succeed in anything that we're trying to do with meaning. So every month, if you can plan in advance for the following month to maximize on every single experience. And I really want to share some things with you. Number one, they call it SMART. But if you write these words down, SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So I want to accomplish X over the next 60 days. I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z by December 31st, 2023, 2024, 2025, whatever that time frame is. But putting together an action plan, how am I going to accomplish it so that I can see myself moving in the right direction? You know, look ahead. Do your homework on the people that you work with, because the more personal it is, the more personalized it is, the more meaning it's going to have. Looking at how you can add value to each of these individuals. I highly recommend, as you're looking at it, think of the ways that you can connect people, especially connecting people that are going to be adding value to each other. If you make that part of your action plan every single month, doing an action plan halfway through the month, pick a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, because more things hit the fan on Mondays and Fridays. Book off 4 hours to work on your life, not in it. Make it so that you have this entire meaning wheel, so that you're having meaning in your personal life, your professional life, your spiritual life, whatever that means. Maybe to you, that's just everyone realizing that everyone's connected. Your physical life, of making sure that you're taking care of yourself, having a private life of the things that you're interested in. Think of the people that are involved in all of those things, and connecting people that you know will add value to each other. Maybe that'll be a meaningful connection. Maybe that'll be a meaningful relationship. Maybe that'll be something that will turn into another business, who knows where, or another charity. Meeting with one leader a week. As you put that in part of your action plan, it can be in any avenue. It doesn't have to be just specifically towards where you're setting meaningful goals, but literally meeting with one new leader a week, asking them how they got where they got, what are they passionate about, and sharing some of what you're doing. Sometimes that person will help take you to the next level. Maybe they'll even help clarify what it is you're doing, and you can do the same for them. But it absolutely adds meaning to just about every meeting that you have. You know, I love this idea of having a treasure map, you know, making it rewarding along the way. If you can keep meaningful markers that show you progress, maybe that's going ahead, and that could be money that you're going to donate to something, or money that you're going to earn that you want to go towards something that has meaning for yourself and your family. Or maybe it's just milestones along the way, the amount of lives that you've touched, a specific story that says, okay, I'm on the right path, I'm on the right track, and start making those start putting those meaning markers. It helps you to stick with something and stay all the way to being able to stay your course, because you can start to see the progress you're making. And maybe today isn't the specific thing you're doing, but by adding more meaning, you're getting closer and closer to the specific thing that you should be doing and doing with your life. I believe that we are all here for a purpose, maybe even for multiple purposes. And the closer we're aligned to what it is that we were really put here for, the more meaning we have in every single facet of our life. You know, this will always be a work in progress. I hope we have a saying at Exit Realty Corp International that we're a human becoming, that instead of just being a human being, we're a human becoming, and we're becoming more and more of the true version of ourselves and a higher and better version of ourselves. And, you know, that means that we'll always be a work in progress. But your goals and your meaningful work will definitely evolve as you do. And my hope is that you start today. I think about this often, but I had a coach one time, and I remember asking him, when should I start? And his answer back always, regardless of what it is that I had for a goal or a target, was, how about today? This is my contact information. You can text TAMI to 85377, and you'll get my mobile business card so that you can connect the way you prefer to. Give me 24 to 48 hours to get back to you, because I'm on an awful lot of planes, but I promise I always return my calls. You know, I really believe putting meaning into everything is the true difference between happiness and fulfillment. And I hope that some of these things you start to apply and that you become more fulfilled every single day.